In today's video, I'm partnering up with Lowe's to show you their new exclusive grill from Weber, and that's the 22-inch Stealth kettle. Now, I'm a huge Weber kettle fan, mainly because they come in all different sizes and all different colors. Personally, I was never a fan of their original gloss black kettle with the silver hardware on it. To me, I'm just like, ugh, why would you get that when you have so many color options out there? That is until I saw the Stealth Edition. They absolutely nailed the color scheme on this with a matte black kettle and black parts on it and just a touch of red in it. So in today's video, we are gonna look at this thing top to bottom, look at all its features, and we're gonna fire it up and do a cook. Win-win. Let's start the show. Looking at the kettle lid here, this is the first Weber I've seen with a matte color. Next, you have the temperature gauge, and I really like the matte black, white, and red combo. From there, you have the black handle and black heat deflector. And then opposite the temperature gauge, you have the black top vent. That is beautiful. Underneath the hood, you have a 22-inch stainless steel top grate. And then underneath that, you have a very robust and thick charcoal grate. Now, underneath the charcoal grate, you're gonna have your standard bottom vent. This lever down here controls the bottom air vents. And I really love the touch of red here. That is nice. Underneath that, you have your removable ash catch. And then you have your bottom storage rack underneath that. And then you can roll it along on the black Weber wheels. Now, unique Weber kettles like this usually come attached with a high price tag. That's why I was pleasantly surprised to see this kettle is under $200. But now the important question, how does she cook? Let's find out. Now, to light the Weber Stealth, we're gonna do what all the professionals do and use lighter fluid. Inside joke, for all the kettle purists, we know we're gonna do it the right way and use a charcoal chimney. All right, now let me prep the ingredients for today's cook. Now for today's recipe, I'm going to recreate a burger I had last week down in New Orleans. It was honestly one of the best burgers I've ever had. Now the trick they did is they used ground beef and they mixed in a little pork chorizo, and that just gave this different burger flavor that was so unique. And they added a Creole seasoning to it, and I'm drooling just thinking about it. So now let's prep the rub. Now this rub is very simple and easy to make, and I will put all the recipe notes in the description of this video. For my rub, I used a tablespoon of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of cayenne powder, and a teaspoon of fresh cracked black pepper. Now to make the burger, I have a section of brisket. This is the point, that's gonna be the fattier section. And I'm just gonna grind this up and I'm gonna mix in some pork chorizo. And if it's anything like I had in New Orleans, or Nolans, as the locals call it, it's gonna be out of this world. Probably gonna use a half a tube of this pork chorizo. All right, time to get mixing. All right, I'm gonna mix in some of our seasoning. All right, let's make some burgers. Got some parchment paper here. Get our burger shape right there. All right, now let's dump the coals into the kettle. All right, these coals are ashed over. Let's get them into the kettle. All right, we're gonna warm up that grate. All right, let's get these burgers onto the kettle. I'm gonna add a little seasoning on top. Beautiful. All right, let's close her up. All right, let's give these burgers a little flippy flip. Now these are pretty delicate, but once we put the cheese on, we are gonna be okay. Now season this side. And we'll cover them back up. All right, let's get some cheese on these. Now for cheese, I'm using American. You can use whatever you want, but again, I'm trying to recreate what I had. All right, this should be quick. All right, let's pull these burgers. And now while the grill's still hot, let's toast some buns. Let's doll up these burgers. I have a little aioli. It's gonna add a little bit more spice. Take one of these burgers. Beautiful. All right, my favorite part, the taste test. That pork mixed in with the beef, total game changer. Definitely worth to try out this recipe. If you're interested in checking out the Weber Stealth, I will put a link to Lowe's so you can check it out. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Grill Sergeant out.